Hey folks, Jang here from ultimaterc.com with the Tiger MT4 G3. Got this from towerhobbies.com. You can find out what its price is by going to towerhobbies.com or just hitting up Google, doing a search for it, and checking the shopping results tab. As you can see, this box is just so huge that it doesn't even fit on the screen here. So it's not going to be very effective to try to unbox this on camera, so what I'm going to do is just unbox it off camera and then cut you back like so. There we go. This is everything that comes in the package, and this is how it comes in the package. The tires, the wheels and tires are not attached to the vehicle at all, but you just need to attach those with their little wheel nuts. I've had a good number of folks over the past few months saying, why haven't you reviewed a Tiger MT4 G3 when it's, according to fans, it's like the greatest RC ever created and that ever will be created. Well, the simple fact is that you couldn't get it. It was not possible to buy this thing because it was sold out everywhere and it was temporarily discontinued by the manufacturer. It was not available to be purchased. Therefore, I could not purchase it. It is back on the market now. As soon as it became available on towerhobbies.com, yoink, add to cart, check out, done, and here it is now. I'm gonna go ahead and take this body off right now because it has those annoying mirror style windows on it for some reason. It's just a thing they decided to do with this one, but it's gonna make it difficult for me to do the filming because annoying internet wackos will spin the entire video like they're already doing right now, looking in those mirrors and posting up comments about, Jang, I saw this, I saw that. Okay, there we go. Now we can see just the vehicle without worrying about that silliness. Interesting vehicle. Let me get this thing up a little bit closer here, maybe get a little bit higher view, and we'll go ahead and cover some of the stuff on the sides, some of the stuff other than the chassis, the stuff that it came with. Instruction manual, nice, and actually there are several things in here, and I'm assuming there are multiple languages, and here's something for the motor, here's something for the ESC. That's a familiar looking ESC, very familiar looking ESC, and something on the radio. So that's just your usual paperwork, and then they got a whole bag of stuff here. This I'm gonna open up and look into because I want to see more of what's in here, because it's a pretty thick, heavy bag, and I think they've done a little more than the norm with stuff they've given you here. All right, let's see. These are spacers, preload clips. There's your standard wrench, and I'm assuming that doesn't go all the way in. Yep, doesn't fit all the way in to the wheel, so they've got an extender here. So that will fit in, this just goes in, and then it'll allow you to attach your wheel nuts. This is nice. I hope to be able to hold on to that for a while or get a spare. You've got a Dean's, I don't know if it's real or not. Looks like it might be. This connector here, female connector for connecting up to your batteries that have direct connect terminals in them, the 4mm terminals. So they've got a jumper cable here to go between two 2S packs, and then you go positive to negative there. Let's see how the battery tray works out later on. These handles, I do not yet know what these handles go to, but I'll be finding that out as I get into more detail. These things, I don't know what those are. They look interesting, but yeah, I just don't know what they are. These, I believe these are these look like steering posts to me, but I'm not positive on that. This is an unboxing, not a review, and I do not know anything about this vehicle. It's my first time ever looking at one of these vehicles, so I'll be learning as I go. Here's a sway bar kit for the front. It comes with one on the rear, but not on the front. I'm assuming that this is going to be used for the front because it has one already on the rear. Here are those wheel nuts that we need to attach the tires, and then there's even more tools, some Allen wrenches, turnbuckle wrench, and another little T wrench. And these are toe and kick up plates. So some options right out of the box for some extra tuning options that they usually don't give you with RTR vehicles, especially not something that's for the bashing market. So that's a good start that it is off to. Here's the radio set, Ace RC Cougar. These do nothing. Associated has used radios from this OEM. They've got trims and EPA for throttle, and then dual rate for steering. There's also an auxiliary, I'm assuming it's a 3-channel radio set. And there's your reversing little dip switch set on the back. But nothing too fancy here. 2.4 gigahertz, takes a whole bank of AA batteries, but you could switch that out for a LiPo pack, though I'm sure it does not have any sort of LiPo detection circuitry in there, so you have to be responsible with your LiPo usage there. I'm going to go ahead and do one more cut here and mount the wheels on just temporarily, just so I can get a little bit more of a feel of the vehicle with those on. And there's that. Okay, a lot better now. Now we get a little bit better feel for the size of this thing. It's pretty large, but very interesting in its styling. So the style of the vehicle platform itself. From a distance, when you first look at the vehicle with the body on, it looks like it's trying to be a monster truck, and indeed it has some pretty huge wheels and tires on it. But then when you take the body off, you see it has this really low slung center chassis pod to it, and it's very easy. Well, looks like you might actually have to change out looks like you might have to change out your springs on this. I'm not sure. Maybe I can take off the top. I'm just looking at how I can get the center of gravity to actually be below the wheel hubs, which is unheard of for a normal production RC vehicle. It's a really interesting ability to be able to get out of it. Just geometrically speaking, it'll actually counteract the natural tendency of a vehicle to roll. It'll have one component of it will actually want to roll into and lean into a turn. I seriously doubt that that'll end up happening because of the geometry of it, but it's definitely going to be stable. I can say that with certainty without even having driven the thing. The shocks feel, oh wow, shocks bottom out before the chassis does, in the front at least. That's not good. I don't like that personally. And at the rear, same kind of thing. Oh well. These are aluminum shocks, aluminum shock towers. I believe the towers are cast. The shocks themselves are machined. Got a aluminum upper chassis brace over here. Aluminum front pin brace right here. The rear mounts are both plastic. Let's see, you've got a couple of adjustments you can make to Ackerman here. It does have pillow ball style suspension, so you can easily adjust your camber at the front, and at the rear it's got regular C hubs. You might be able to see back there. Just kind of your standard, actually, just your standard upright hub carriers. There are a few options that I can see right now for camber length. Well, there's two options for camber length, at least two, depending upon how you set it up. A couple options for roll center. You've got options, nice selection of options on the rear tower here. As I mentioned before, you've got your rear sway bar pre-installed. It has turnbuckles for the upper camber lengths. It also has adjustable turnbuckles up front for steering, for tow. So a ton of adjustability in this thing right out of the box. That's good for starters. It does have CV style shafts at the front. These are pretty thick looking steel axles. It also has CV shafts at the rear, not regular dog bones. So that's an unnecessary luxury that they've afforded us there. Appreciate that. Got droop screws already in the A-arms all the way around. Let's flip this upside down so you can see that the chassis is aluminum. That's an aluminum piece, stamped. This is just a little guard for the spur gear. Kind of odd looking thing there. I hope the spur gear doesn't actually extend down quite that much. I'll have to look into that. I would rather not have that sticking down. I'd actually rather have just a hole open if it's at least flush. But let me take this upper piece off. It's very easy to get off. And you can take a look at some of the doings on the inside of the vehicle. And there's your Hobby Wing RTR ESC rebranded, and it has a pretty decent sized motor, 2000 kV, and it looks like it's a, I haven't measured it, but it looks like it's a 40 by, at least a 40 by 68. Might be a little bit larger than that. I'm sure a long line of folks will be very happy in the YouTube comments section to come through and give the exact dimensions on it after hitting a Google search. I am not in front of my computer, and I'm not going to do a Google search right now. I'm just looking at the thing. Mod 1 gearing here. It's got a steel pinion, short little front shaft, dog bones on. Dog bones inboard, CV joints outboard, actual universal joints towards the ends. So again, another nice little unexpected, for me, unexpected luxury that they have afforded us there. So these things are not going to lash. They're not going to move up and down, back and forth. It should be, for what it is, it should be fairly quiet running because it doesn't have dog bones anywhere. It has dog bone ends at one end of each shaft, but not at the other end. So they're not going to be able to float around. As a plastic spur, that's a good thing. Metal spurs are ridiculously loud. Mesh feels pretty good, maybe even a little bit on the tight side. That's fine. It's better to be a little bit tight rather than a little bit loose with these. Looks like these have 4mm connectors in there. Hopefully they're bullets, but they're more likely bananas. Actually, I can pull them out, and yep, they're bananas. Feel a little bit loose in there, so I'll definitely be looking for temperatures on those. Make sure that those don't get too hot. The battery tray, well, the default setup with this, oh, this is very interesting, with this ESC. So these plugs are hardwired in. You do have a Dean's plug right here, and then this adapter that they give you is if you're going to run two 2S packs separately with these kind of plugs in them. This will help you with that. Otherwise, by default, just drop a single 4S pack in there. I'll have to check on what sizes will work for that and what styles of 2S packs will work, but kind of get the feeling looking at it that you should have plenty of options here. So far, so good. Things are looking pretty good with this interesting servo setup. It's a stand-up servo, and they angled it in, keeping it fairly close to the center line. That's a cool little thing. The whole thing is based on a buggy, so that's why you have the low chassis and the center diff. It's not necessarily standard monster truck fare, but really this is what you want in the RC world, where things, physics are kind of skewed a little bit by the ridiculous scale speeds at which we drive our RCs and the tremendous heights to which we jump them. You really want a monster truck, an RC scale monster truck, to be designed like this. Center diff in there, get the center of gravity down as low as it can reasonably go, and have plenty of suspension range of motion. I actually wish this had a little bit more droop. This feels kind of good there. might be a little bit over dampened, but if anything, that's good for jumping. I think the spring rate might be a little bit stiffer than I would have expected, but I really can't complain. They're definitely in the ballpark of something good. The fronts got something that's binding a little bit here. It's kind of, see, yeah, it's just kind of getting stuck on the boot. The springs are getting stuck on the boot. That's why I hear a little bit of clicking behind there. But this, I think I'll just preload the front up a little bit because it's definitely leaning forward. Once the weight of the battery gets in there, it's gonna be doing pretty good. I think that for an RTR, they've done a very nice job of setting this thing up, and it looks like it's got the right power system in it, and it just looks like a proper, well thought out, well planned, and even well executed vehicle. I think that this is the best way to go for a design of this style of vehicle, but we'll have to see how well it works out. These tires, like I said, these wheels and tires are just huge. They're almost, I haven't measured them, but they're definitely all close to Traxxas Summit size on the diameter, at least. The width isn't quite there, but the diameter is. I do not believe these are real bead locks. It looks like they are glued. Yeah, I can feel it. They are definitely glued in. I think they just have fake bead lock rings on them, but no worries there. I actually prefer that. And these are plastic, so they're not adding a tremendous amount of unnecessary weight to the thing. So far, so good. I mean, preliminary first look at it from me with no reference to other people's experience with it, no personal bias whatsoever. I'm happy with what I'm very happy with what I'm seeing so far, and looking forward to running this thing. Before folks get on there and start bugging me to the edge of insanity like they usually do with, when are you going to do the running video? When are you going to do the review? Well, it's answered in the video description on every single video that I put out with the frequently asked questions, but I'll help you out if you refuse to read anything. The answer is it'll be done when it's done, because this is not the only thing in my queue. I am looking forward to running it, and I will run it as soon as I can. And once I do, I will put up videos. And once I'm done running it thoroughly, multiple different terrains and styles of driving, I might do a little bit of setup tuning, and of course I have to do my durability montage, and if anything breaks, I have to order parts. And when I order parts, I have to wait for parts to come in. Once parts come in, then I gotta replace them and go out and do more runs. Lots and lots of stuff goes into building a short little review. It could take weeks. As a matter of fact, you should expect it to take weeks and weeks for this to be done. But you can be assured that I will do it to the best of my ability. And like I said, I am very much looking forward to this, because so far it's looking pretty good. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Sorry I wasn't able to make it a full, true unboxing with the actual removal of the vehicle on camera, but I really don't think that's that important, is it? Nah. All right, thanks, and I'll be talking to you again soon.